in a world crying out for a top 10 show. John Rocha and Matt Knost are here to bring you the top 10. Brought to you by the Schmoes Know. Take it away, boys. All right, welcome everybody to this week's edition of the Top 10. We are talking about a particular person because...
Okay, James Lipton.
The movie It is coming out, which I'm looking forward to. I don't know if you're looking forward to it, Matt.
Are you fucking kidding me? We talked about this.
Did we talk
yes.
about it? Okay,
we talked about it on Outlaw Nation, for Christ's sake.
Oh, we did. I'm sorry.
Because you asked me to watch two trailers. It was that and the other one. There was the Valerian. Wasn't it Valerian?
I thought it was Blade Runner. I think it was Blade Runner.
No, you're right.
I
Blade
wouldn't have
Runner.
never watched Valerian.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And nor did I in the theater.
That's right.
I thought there was a chance I might have to, actually.
Oh, really?
And
oh,
got
Jesus.
out of it. Thank God.
Good.
It's one of those if he wants to go, I have to go.
Oh, was it your nephew?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Because he sees everything, and in the summer he has more time off, so he's like, I want to see 2 movies a week.
Mr. Joyride.
So he will go see... Dude, he's already seen more movies than both of us this summer.
Probably.
He just needs to catch up on the older shit. That's it.
I like the kid. It was fun having him on the show. He held his own.
And thank you again for that.
Of course.
He had fun.
I liked him.
But at the same time, it's an awkward position.
It's awkward only in your mind.
It's not that. I want him to succeed, and I want you to see what I see, because he can talk movies with me and hold his own. Even if I don't agree with his opinion, he won't back off. And good. That's, you have an opinion. It's good to have an opinion. Your opinion is wrong right now.
Exactly. But I'm a warm-hearted guy. If it's your family, I don't mind having him on the show. Let's do it.
Perfect. Got the next 6 months all lined up.
Oh, shit.
Done and done. And I figured my sister down in San Diego is going to be having a baby, and when this comes out in a few weeks, so come down, we'll podcast from the room. Boom, we got numerous guests.
We should top 10 show of movies with babies.
Babies, exactly. Was it not 40-year-old? 40-year-old version. Knocked Up. We got Knocked Up.
Done.
There's one.
Look Who's Talking.
Yeah, sure.
That's right at the beginning.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's the whole opening with the sperm going to the egg.
That's right.
The whole entire buildup.
Anyway, so this week Matt and I decided to do the top 10 Stephen King movies, which was an interesting subject to go back, because this goes back all the way to the 80s.
Yeah.
It's 3 decades, and even the 70s, to be honest with you.
Before we get into it, I wanted to ask you, do you want to do, and this is me doing programming for you.
Here we go. I'm not cutting this out. For an Outlaw
Nation, we both go see it, and then we just do a recap review on that.
Ooh.
I got no problem. I know I'm seeing it. I'm going to try and carve out space to see it Thursday night.
Look at you. That's not a bad idea. All right.
Because we're going. If we can find the time, let's go see it together.
Oh,
you know
done
what I mean?
and done. Yeah.
Because a lot of my friends are not in.
We'll hold each other.
Trust me, I am in on this.
Really?
I don't like horror, but I read this book.
Right.
Love the book.
The book's fantastic.
I'm a big fan of the TV movie. I own it myself.
Oh, yeah, the Richard Thomas one, with Tim Curry.
It's for network television, and when it came out, it is a surprisingly scary movie.
It really is.
But it's also a television movie,
Yeah.
and it shows that in a number of different ways.
Yeah.
But they still get to a really creepy place on network TV, and it's pretty impressive.
Well, this already from the trailers lets you know this is a whole nother level you're playing at, man. Just that scene of him jumping off the thing and coming at you, I lose my fucking mind and every time I see that in the trailer.
That's not what scares me. It's when he's the eye of the storm, and he's calm, and you're like, no, because you don't know what he's going to do. When he's coming at you, you're like, all right, he's at least attacking from the front.
Right.
I got a chance. When he's all quiet, it's just like, I don't know which way he's going. I don't know what he's planning. I don't like him over in the corner looking at me like that with those spooky eyes. And those eyes are gorgeous. Yeah. Such a great update, because ultimately, in the book, the light and all that jazz plays a very important part.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is looking so good. My wife's seen the trailer once. She saw it when we saw the movies over the summer, and she's like, really? You're excited to see that? Like, oh, I'm so excited to see that. So excited. She's like, it seems like every dumb horror movie.
What?
She doesn't like horror either. Neither do I.
Okay.
But I'm like, trust me, this one is...
No, I don't like cheesy. I don't like it has to be really good for me to enjoy horror genre,
Yeah.
right? That's the thing. I don't like ghosts. I don't like slasher films. I don't like any of the Friday 13th movies, Nightmare on Elm Street, none of them. I mean, Nightmare's a little bit better than the Jason movies and those Friday 13th.
I like the Jason just because it embraces the fact that it is what it is, whereas Freddy, I think, goes for more psychological.
That's what I like about Freddy.
Yeah, I just don't think it ever succeeded, so I was like, just play to the horror of the character and not to.
See, that's why we work together so well, because we have different points of view.
Yeah, exactly. Let's call the whole thing off.
Tomato. No, but I was excited to do this one because people were clamoring for us to do this on Dark Tower.
Yeah, Dark Tower.
But Matt was like, "No, that movie's getting shitty reviews. Let's wait for something that's getting great reviews." And already people are super excited for it. So Matt was completely right.
I'm not paying attention. I'm not looking on Rotten Tomatoes to see what it is before I see it. I am seeing it.
That's right.
I don't, and I'm at this point, like I have tried to miss the trailer as much as I possibly could, but I just saw it at Logan Lucky.
Right.
And we saw like 3 straight horror trailers, and my wife didn't know anything about Logan Lucky, and she's like, "Is this a fucking horror movie?" Because she doesn't like it. She doesn't like to be unsettled for that long. She's like, "Why am I paying money for this?" I'm like, "I get it." I also get the people that enjoy it. Like, I don't get scared. I get bored. Like, of course he comes through and kills them. Like, of course,
right.
It's just like, yeah, we know, and this person's probably going to live, and the rest of them are expendable.
Right.
Like, I get it. But with this, it's just like, you got me already.
Yeah.
This character is, death personified.
Well, the rumors are in that trailer, in that room full of clowns, that Tim Curry is one of the clowns because he has MS. He's just sitting down as one of the clowns because he was the Pennywise from the TV movie.
Yeah.
So if he's in there, that would be an awesome homage to that.
Can you imagine if Tim Curry was in this? You know what I mean? We take Tim Curry at the age he was for the TV movie and put him in this.
Oof.
I don't think I'd sleep ever again. Because sometimes in my dreams, because I never really have nightmares, but if I have a nightmare, there was a time in my life where Pennywise was the villain of my nightmares. Yeah.
No thanks.
Exactly. Something that could shapeshift into whatever your biggest fear is, then attack you and then turn you into basically an undead zombie because it has your soul and it's kind of collecting souls.
Right.
And you just live in this hellscape for all eternity.
One of my friends hates clowns, and I thought we would never convince him to see this movie, but he's like, "No, you don't understand. That's what clowns are." So I get it.
Yeah.
So I want to see the movie because yes, clowns are evil, and I was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not." I'm not afraid to watch a movie about a killer clown. That's what clowns are, the fucking killers. And I was like, okay, all right. I completely misunderstood this whole situation. So yeah, everything about it looks great. I mean, just we all float down here. Every trailer it's more and more intense.
The clips of, hey, this week in Newark, New Jersey, a clown was walking around. They have like stills. I have seen like Imager dumps of, here's all this from this guy in this area, and there's like a few different areas, and I know there's at least one in England.
Yeah,
and it just that's just creepy. I wasn't afraid of clowns as a kid, and I didn't understand. Like the first time I heard it, I was an adult when somebody's like, "Oh, I hate clowns!" Like they scare the shit out of me. I was like, "What? It's a clown."
Right. It's meant to make you happy.
And then now I've known enough people that I can understand. Like, yeah, I get it. Clowns are creepy. I never really thought of it like that. It's just a clown to me.
Yeah, because when you find it, it's like out of work 30-year-old, 40-year-old guys dressing up in that stuff. It unsettles you because who knows what they're doing late at night.
Exactly. I don't even want to go down that path because it gets dark.
Sorry,
super quick.
Now we're in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we, Matt, do you want to tell them how the show works?
Yeah, so once John and I set a topic, we go our individual ways and come up with personal top 10 lists and show back up here. I do my bottom 3, he does his bottom 3. I do my next 2, he does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece. Once we've revealed our personal top 10 lists, we create the shows between the two of us.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I stuttered on reveal.
All right,
revealed.
Fine. All right,
I do this every time.
I know.
If you go back and listen to it, you'll hear it. There was a hiccup.
I'm just trying to support you, man.
I would ask for another take if we were doing VO. Give me another one on that. Give me another one. I didn't like that.
We'll be on video soon. No, we won't.
And we're going to do VO for that section? That seems a bit excessive.
It's going to be all about it.
Oh, we got somebody wandering into the room.
Yeah.
Oh. It's an asshole that used to wander into this.
It's the chairman of the board. Well,
son of a bitch right here.
Look at this guy.
Oh, his ironic T-shirt.
2 creeps I used to hate and now I like a lot. Welcome back, boys.
Dear God.
Thank you, Christian.
How's it going? What are you guys talking about?
We're just about to start counting down the top 10 Stephen King films.
All right. Well, good. There's not that many great ones, are there? I mean, I think we got Shawshank Redemption's got to be in. All right, I'm just looking. I'm looking at some of them. There are some. All right, I'm looking at your list.
Yeah. There's enough. I'm not Trust me, there are enough.
There are some good ones too. There's some. Thinner's not going to be in there though. I don't think.
Look, why would it be? I mean, he instantly started laughing before you got to the final syllable.
It's
Thinner.
not good. But I will say to both of you guys before it is, good luck in the tournament. I'm actually, strangely enough, I'm rooting for you guys this time around.
Yeah. This time, that's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. You can't even give a fucking compliment, you cocksucker. You can't even.
True.
I'm kind of fucking rooting for you.
You guys are a bunch of dicks the last.
Trust me, I'm gonna be sitting over the side looking at you in the same fucking smug fashion.
But you were a bit of a cocky guy.
No. Cocky is unfounded and arrogant. We were confident.
All right, that's
confident.
Fine.
It's utterly different.
Well, look, you kicked
and there's a humility and confidence. When you lose, you lose. What are you gonna do?
So you deserve it. But you got a lot of people to contend with.
This fucking outfit, you need sandals on because you look like a beach slacker, like a dad that just let himself go.
I need it. I'm
just breaking your balls.
Your
shorts.
I mean, those are not exactly athletic.
These
shorts
are actually from Howe. So this is a beach attire. There you go. So I'm just trying to make you look like me, so I feel better.
By the way, the show's canceled.
No. God damn it, Matt. All right. So let's start it off, man. Your bottom three.
So my bottom three.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a lot of punts on this. It's a thing. I think it's gonna be all close.
I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be a lot of close to the top. The bottom is kind of. What do you want?
I know.
My number 10 was like of these. I have three choices.
Okay.
And I just had to be honest with myself and be like, if I'm going to be really honest, I like this one the best.
Right.
Which is Children of the Corn.
Ooh, what?
Children of the Corn.
Wow.
I liked that as a kid, and just the idea of evil embodied in Malachi.
Right.
And what is it? It's like the thing behind the rose. Or they're talking about the corn rose, the evil demonic being that lives over there. And they just built up a nice sense of like a thriller, psychological thriller on top of all the horror stuff. It was fantastic to see all these spooky little kids that had just kind of taken over the entire town, and all the adults are, gone. They've killed them all. They've sacrificed them in the aims of getting a better corn harvest. It's fantastic to see just two adults stumble into this world and kind of look at themselves and be like, the fuck is happening? The middle of Iowa turned to a shit fest. When did we go full post-apocalyptic? The kids are now sacrificing adults. And first off, how, like, we've all heard that, how many 12-year-olds you think you can take down before they get you? Yeah. Like, if you're surrounded by 100 12-year-olds, Harloff just turned the lights off.
This son of a bitch. Here, I'm going to go turn the lights back on.
It's trying to be funny. So you're just going to listen to me drone on for Children of the Corn for another 25 seconds. And guess what? You're welcome, It's not often you just hear me drone on and on as John goes outside to flip a light switch, but I'm here for you, for the people. And this is what I do. I give. I come on, he comes on, we come on. It is a we. We give of ourselves to you. And the lights just came back on, and my vamping is soon to be finished. I think we'll all be thoroughly satisfied. If you turned into, Live Me app at Comic-Con 2 years, you got to see me do this for 4 hours, basically just talk to myself like this.
That was insane, that live stream.
It was a little bit much, and John is back.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry, guys. All right, anyway.
Yeah, let's move on from Children of the Corn.
What's your number 9? Because it's not on my list at all. So what's your number 9?
Yeah. Well, and I just vamped nonstop.
It was good.
Well, anyway. Number 9 is The Dead Zone.
Are you... We're punting.
Okay.
You don't want me to yell at you, so I'm trying to calm down.
Oh. Well, I'm glad our group therapist finally has had a fucking effect on you.
I had to listen.
It's about time you respect my feelings because I respect yours.
That's right.
Until your feelings kind of disrespect mine. You know what I mean? Even if it was unintended.
That's
right. I will strike.
All right, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is The Running Man.
That's my number 10. Perfect.
I was wondering if it was going to sneak onto your list.
Yeah, it did snuck on number 10.
You don't seem to be as big a fan of this movie as I am.
I am not. No, you pointed out all the reasons not to like the movie.
But that's what makes it so great.
Okay.
It's because it's so awful and it still got made, and I watched it so many times, and
it's so bad.
It's so bad.
Yeah, but it's fun bad, which is why it's on my list. It's fun bad.
Because it tries to go for a logicality, if that's even a word, of something like Total Recall, where you still have the stupidity, but the philosophical question you're asking is complex and interesting. Yeah. And it reaches for that, and it just, its reach exceeds its grasp. Yeah. By quite a ways. What are you going to do? Once again, was it Mick Fleetwood and Dweezil Zappa?
That's right.
So, yeah, they did well. They acquitted themselves nicely.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
And listen, Jesse the Body. Was great in a bunch of different things.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Predator. Another fantastic movie that he was excellent in.
I always love him as a WWE announcer. He's always the best. Let me
And
tell
as
you
a wrestler
something,
himself.
Yeah, he was a good wrestler. Of course. Yeah, of course. He was great.
Trying to basically steal Hogan's thunder by doing his own version of the same thing.
Well, both him and Hogan both kind of stole a little bit from superstar Billy Graham. That's the guy they stole from.
Sure.
That's the original, man.
But Hogan rode that thing to the top.
Of course he did.
And Ventura's just like, nah, this is like the poor man's version of that.
I think it's always about personality, man. It's always about Hogan just had a bigger personality than Ventura. More people just enjoyed what he was doing more than Ventura, because wrestling is an extension of who you really are as a person.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So
or he, try to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you see a hero, you want to be the hero.
Right.
Especially as a kid, because that's why I liked Hogan. It's fucking eat your vitamins. Hell yeah, eat my
say your
vitamins.
prayers. And so it's a good list. Okay, what's your number 8?
That was my number 8. So you're just
okay.
done with Running Man like that?
So
and it was good. Okay,
Yeah.
we're moving on. What else you got? You've done that to me twice now.
I'm sorry.
Report, and now that just so dismissive.
No, because we've talked about it already on the Schwarzenegger one, which is why I didn't know if there's anything we need to
true.
rehash.
I don't know.
That's
I just wanted to break your balls for the sake of breaking your balls.
All right, this is probably a punt. My number 9 is Carrie.
Not that far a punt, I guess.
Okay,
but the
that's
logic
fine.
we're using.
All right, so my number 8 is Dolores Claiborne.
Didn't make my list.
Wow, really?
I know I've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't really remember it.
Wow, shit. I really like.
I read
this
the
movie.
book.
Yeah, the book is great.
Yeah.
I like this movie because it's not a conventional type of horror, right? The horror is psychological about what Dolores experienced physically from this man, but the daughter, who's played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, doesn't want to remember what her father did to her, right? And that's where the horror is that this destructive relationship between the mother and daughter, which, Kathy Bates is this really put upon woman who suffered so much physically from David Strathairn as his wife, and then now is suffering emotionally because Jennifer Jason Leigh is blaming her for the death of her father and her husband, obviously, Kathy Bates' husband, and thinks that her mom killed her dad.
Yeah.
Right. But she doesn't want to accept what her mom's been saying, the fact that he physically abused her. But then you find out later that she was sexually abused by her father.
Yeah.
And that's the horror of the movie, that she doesn't want to confront or face or see. And then you see all this happening. But like those flashbacks to the physical assaults that he was doing to Kathy, like it's really unsettling, but so well done. And Kathy Bates is fantastic in the movie.
Yeah, Stephen King is really good at that.
Yeah.
Taking something that just a simple, not twist,
right,
but just a simple plot development, and it's so disastrous and so terrible for the characters. And you're like, wow. Or in a movie that was fighting to get on my list but didn't, he wrote on it, but there's a great device he uses by which he kills someone, and you're like, wow, it's interesting because of the psychological torture on top of the physical torture they're doing to this individual.
Right.
And in the context of the scene, I don't want to talk about it because it may come up for you. So we'll talk about it then. But anyway, so that was your what?
That was my number 10, 9, 8. So what's your number 7?
My 7 is our first punt, Carrie.
Okay. Barely, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think it's enough. If it was your 8, then we talk about it.
Sure. It's in that block. Yeah.
Yeah. It's such an innocent movie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is wholly not.
Yeah.
It's such a. I like it because you don't identify with anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Because none of the people overall have the set, unless it's the gym teacher, but she gets killed in the end. Yeah. So I don't know what her sin was to get killed and why the one girl is saved, unless she needs to be witness to and carry forth the damage that this town did to Carrie. Then she has to be, bothered with it the rest of her life.
She has nightmares about it.
Yeah, the nightmares, the waking up and screaming and all that shit. Because that means they didn't get the guy that took her out on a date out of there either.
Right.
And he's dead.
Right.
The hell did he do?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Collateral damage, man.
Yeah.
It's nerd rage. Nerd rage takes.
So I don't know.
Damage.
I don't know because they're setting up to be him and his girlfriend to ask him to take Carrie out and a redeeming for Carrie and set her and the mom. Although I like the ending.
Yeah.
Where once her mom has passed, her world has collapsed. She's gone. Supernova, black hole, or whatever, and she's collapsing in upon herself.
Yeah.
So literally now the house is collapsing. She goes into her safe space in that crawl space and brings her dead mother. And her mother was stabbed up into the wall in the same Christ-like the thing that's in her little room.
Right.
And just all the imagery, but I don't know who the redeeming character is in this. And I guess you don't really need one for this story.
No, because it's a story. It's a story, because it's a
How
story.
shitty all people are?
Right, but also in high school, like how shitty high school can be. If you're the persecuted one, if you're the one that's made fun of, if you're not as like aware of your sexuality as everyone else is, because you've been raised in this environment where everything sexual is seen as something from the devil. So you're ashamed of your body, you're ashamed of your physicality, right? So how do you lash out? And that's how she lashes out, is like destroying everyone who's made fun of her. Just like it's channeling these inner powers of what everyone would like to do who is put upon in high school, right? Not everyone becomes the main person, but if you're unfortunately one of those people that is bullied all through high school and made fun, you have those fantasies of destroying everyone
exactly, and it
who
coming
hurts
true.
you, and it coming true, right? Exactly. And so she has that when the pig blood gets poured on her, which is so unsettling of an image, and
it is, and they stay in it in the slow motion for just the right amount of time. I always like that, the progression of her powers.
Yes,
it picks up, and then she actually does some studying. But you buy it.
Yeah,
you're like, she's just kind of learning. Oh, this is my mind, and this is my body, and this is who I am, and I'm more than this. God, I can't even think, like metaphorical being from the Bible,
right?
Where that's why her mother is like, oh, now you're a woman, so now you've been cast into sin, and you're in this lot with me.
Exactly.
And she goes, Looney Tunes. Full on Looney Tunes later.
Yeah.
I love the dismissive of the mom, the other friend's mom that gives her $10.
Yeah.
The $5, $10. And she gets pissed off, but she takes it fine. I understand what this transaction is. I can't get you.
Yeah.
But then there is this also understanding of, I've done this before, so I will be doing this again.
Yeah.
I will be coming back. So you either keep paying me off or you sit and listen to this. That's pretty brutal.
Yeah. There's a lot of good young. I mean, Travolta's in this thing. Amy Irving is in this.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sissy Spacek. Piper Laurie plays the mom. Piper Laurie was like in The Hustler with Paul Newman, so she's a fantastic actress, and she was in Children of the Lesser God too.
The woman that ends up being the secretary in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, that's right. Edie McClurg. Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
There's a couple others.
Yeah, William Catt, isn't he from Greatest American Hero? He's in this thing. That's right.
Yeah.
Him
That's
too,
the name I could never remember.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was like, that guy. Why didn't this guy have a bigger career? Because he's so warm and charming.
Yeah. Yeah. But for me, it doesn't get as high as it probably maybe does for other people. It's because it feels dated to me, and it doesn't feel as horrific and when you watch it now with 2017 eyes. The images are still powerful, but the overall film itself doesn't resonate with me in the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So for me, that's why it's lower on my list.
Yeah, I think it holds
for
up.
me. Yeah. All right, so that then what?
Was my 7.
Okay. What's
so
your number
my
6?
6 might be a punt for you.
Ooh.
The Green Mile.
That is my number 6.
Perfect timing.
Boom!
Perfect timing.
Yes. What a good film.
Yeah, I've seen this so many times.
On TNT, it is constant rotation on TNT. I watch it all the time on TNT.
I've got it. It was part of my box of VHS tapes. Double VHS.
Nice.
So I've probably seen that, I'd say minimum 40 times.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
He kill them with their love. Like all of that. Listen, this Michael Clarke Duncan, it's a difficult movie to watch when he has the flashback of what Sam Rockwell did to those girls.
Yeah.
It is the most difficult part of the movie. And at times I will fast forward or pause it on my DVR so I can fast forward it later because I can't watch that scene. It's too much. It's too painful. And his sadness of it is so well done by the late, great Michael Clarke Duncan that you feel everything that's happening in the movie.
Yeah.
Everything he does, when he manipulates that evil guy to shoot Sam Rockwell, like all of it is just so well done, and the progression of it all because, and David Morse is great and Tom Hanks, like all the chemistry of everybody in the film is so really it just feels like you want to be in this world, even though it's a prison. You want to be in this world.
Yeah, these are men of honor.
Yep.
And they're trying to be respectful of, listen, I know you did some terrible things to get here, but I'm still going to treat you like a human being until you exit this earth, because that is my job.
Yep.
I need to check whatever that is at the door because I need to make you comfortable. Ultimately, the reason for that is we are going to run 20,000, 30,000 volts, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
To literally overload your brain and fry your insides.
Yeah.
So the gravity of that still weighs on me. Yes, you might be a piece of shit, but I am going to be potentially one of the ones that kills you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to respect that fact and be respectful of you and let you deal with your last moments on this earth because the clock's ticking.
Yeah.
The first time we meet. You think it's forever from now? It's not. It'll be here sooner than you think.
Yeah. and it's really moving in that way, isn't it?
And when Michael Clark Duncan, the emotions and when he's slobbering at the mouth, and you feel it with him. He conveys, and you have an empathy as if you've experienced anything anywhere close to this before, or rather a sympathy, because he can make you feel like you've seen it or experienced it. And just like the simple song, I'm in heaven.
Yep.
Just like it's a great little plot device to lull you into this little scene that they're spinning.
Yeah.
So impressive when I saw it and then found out it was a Stephen King, and I'm like, you know what? It's those short stories like the what is it, Nightmares and Hellscapes, or what the short
That's what it's
collection.
called.
It's one of my favorites of his.
Yeah.
Because in 20 pages, that guy can tell an amazingly resonant story that carries with you, and then the next one might be, okay to you.
Yeah.
And then 15, 20 pages later, here's one that's 5 pages, and it's a gut punch.
Yeah.
And you're like, Jesus. And you it's just impressive what he can do in a short amount of time. And they keep expanding it. They can make good, long movies out of it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely impressive.
And having grown up in the South, this resonates. So, I know these people. I know this situation. I know this time. Do you know what I'm saying? I grew up during the 70s and 80s, but those kind of people who lived during that time were my elders as I was growing up. So I would hear their stories very, you understood how people communicated, like you got it. You know what I'm saying? And you're right, because these guys, there was a nobility that used to be around back then. There was a nobility.
I still think it's here. We
you
just
do?
idealize the past.
Well, true. That's a good point. The nostalgia of
exactly.
it all. Yeah,
oh, things were better then.
Right.
And it's just I know that's not the case.
Right.
I grew up in the 80s. I would rather be alive now than in the 80s.
Absolutely.
In this country.
Yeah.
As much as you may hate it, it's still more advantageous overall to be alive today than it was when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I still look back at the 80s and be like, it was this idyllic, things were simpler.
Right.
The world's problems weren't that big. It's because you were 6.
Yeah.
The world's problems were
we had nuclear war on the horizon all through the 80s. People forget. We had the Cold War the whole time until 89.
But at the same time, by the time that really registered and I understood
for you,
the effects of
that's what I'm saying.
It was almost over.
But that's what I'm saying. We as kids didn't really register it that strongly because it was over. But if we had been adults during that, we might have felt it more powerfully because we could conceive of it, is what I'm saying. So that's why it's so
part
idyllic.
of the transition.
Yeah.
Of we had peace, and now we just have this perpetual stalemate that we throw trillions of dollars at.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a ridiculous amount of national security for an enemy that's doing the same thing. Let's just keep building up walls and doing all this other crap. And what's the end game? It's a zero-sum end game. Nobody wins in this.
Exactly. And Darabont does a great job. Well, to go back to the movie, Darabont does a great job directing this film, too. And the pacing of it all. And it's a ballsy film to make it this long. And the twist at the end, damn, I love that twist at the end. It is tragic.
Yep.
Even though he's a good man, there's a price to pay for what he wanted. There was a price to pay for what he wanted. And I love the stuff with James Cromwell and Patricia Clarkson, because she has that tumor.
Yeah.
He takes it out of her. It's just amazing all around. And Michael Clark Duncan he's just the biggest heart in that film. He anchors that film. And I read the production stuff about it. He would act on apple carts, apple boxes rather. He had to stand on apple boxes so he could be bigger than everybody else. And then they dug trenches where Tom Hanks would have to walk in the trenches. Yeah, in the trenches,
just to make him seem that
much smaller,
bigger and more imposing.
Exactly. So
interesting,
really good film. All right, that was your number 6, right? My number 6.
That it was.
Okay, so my number 7 is Cujo.
Didn't make my list.
Oh, really? Oh, man, I love this movie.
Yeah, I saw it as a kid, and it did nothing for me. It was they're in a car.
So I'm going to guess Christine isn't in your top 10.
No, well, it's not even that. It's just they get trapped in a car for in my head, because I haven't seen those as a kid, the whole fucking movie, they're in a goddamn car. And I'm like, why do I... Okay, I was just bored. And there's a killer dog, but you're in a car. And, okay.
Well, that's
what I did the whole... I mean, I was a kid.
Right.
So my perception of it is so skewed that I don't even have the slightest clue. It could be the most amazing movie ever. I'm never going to go back and rewatch it because it's just no. I saw it. It was terrible. And I was like, way too young probably to have seen it.
Right. No, I've seen it recently again. I think like a year or two ago. I enjoyed the shit out because the tension and the drama involved in the film and the dog and like just having your family dog turn on you and a dog of that size. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
Dee Wallace does such a great job in that, and you sense her desperation in the car, trying to save her child. The fear of it all, and then like it's getting closer, and like he's getting closer and closer to getting them, and how
Sure.
do they escape? And they're running out of air, and all of that, and in the heat of the summer, and the dog is just waiting for them. There's just so much about it that I really enjoyed, and it's Stephen King at his enjoyable best when he's pulpy horror, like when he does the pulpy horror type stuff. I really enjoy it. This is like
Okay.
pulpy horror type stuff. You know?
Okay.
All right. What's your number? Oh, so what do we get to? Number 5?
Yeah, now we get top 5. So my number 5
Yeah.
is Misery.
Ooh. That is my number 4, so I guess we can talk about it. Sure.
For the hobbling scene alone.
Jesus Christ.
For the hobble, that stayed with me more than almost any other like movie scene of all time.
Right.
One tiny little, and it hits us both where we're like, it's based on historical precedent of what people used to do from miners that would steal from them.
Yeah.
They'd fucking hobble them.
Oh, God.
And so spoiler alert, Khan is an author who is basically like a Stephen King type of author who's done really well for himself, and he's got a rabid fan base.
Yeah.
And this woman kidnaps him because she wants him to finish the book and write out. Basically, she wants him to write the story that she wants to see.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like his choices for a bunch of different stuff. Yeah. So she kidnaps him and she straps him to a bed and she holds him hostage inside her home until he does what she wants.
Right.
And she does all these terrible things to inflict her will upon him. But in her mind, she's still like this sweet, innocent type of individual.
Yeah.
That she's doing no wrong. Trust me, what I'm doing, you're going to thank me for.
Right.
Everything, I'm a good force in your life. And he is rightly freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then he tries to leave at one point, and she catches on. She doesn't catch him in the act. She catches him after the act, and he is strapped down again. So it's a process. It's called hobbling, and they put, in essence, it looked like a 4x4, cut to about three feet in length. It was it was thick, and it was wide enough to where it more than eclipses the circumference of your ankle. So if you just have a big block right there, and it stretches to the other foot.
Yeah.
And then she takes a sledgehammer, and she just hammers.
I know, dude.
From the outside.
Oh, God.
And just the sound,
yeah,
the visual of it, but that has stayed with me to such a degree. Like, oh my God, that is torture. It's beyond the physical. Like, yes, there is physical pain involved in that, and I will carry that with me the rest of my life. But in this moment right now, if she is capable of this, then I am actually praying for death. Because it's only going to get more twisted from here.
True.
And I'm going to experience pain for the rest of my life. So please just kill me now if this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Like,
his begging for her to not do it.
Yeah.
And then her like doing it in a way that's like your mom, like, I'm doing this for your own good. Mm-hmm. You tried to escape. Yeah. I told you.
Trust me. I know what's best for you.
Yeah, I know what's best for you.
You're blind to this.
This is what's so great about the movie. The movie is prescient in this way because we see this now in the fan culture online. We see this on Twitter. We see this on Instagram. We see this on any social media. Mm-hmm. If you, sometimes fans or people who like your work get super obsessed with you or super obsessed with getting in touch with you.
I can only imagine on that level.
Right. And on that level, exactly. Like if you were like, imagine someone kidnapping George R.R. Martin and making him write.
Totally plausible.
Of course it is.
Totally plausible.
That kind of mania and fandom to the Game of Thrones, those people would absolutely do it. They're the most rabid fan base you'll ever find because they love their stuff so well.
Some production company in this town is sitting on a script that is basically that, like a Seth Rogen type character, steals George R.R. Martin and tries to force him, and it's the zany kind of road trippy comedy. I guarantee you someone has written that script in this town.
With George R.R. Martin.
Yeah.
Right. My summer with George.
Perfect. That's gorgeous. You were on top of that. I like that. That was fast. You got to appreciate the living shit out of that.
It's all in French.
Oh, wow. Took it to a place they did not expect.
I'm just saying. No, but like this is just what you see. Sometimes the fans get real, like these DC fans sometimes get super upset.
But it's for anything.
Yeah,
that they
it's
invest
exactly.
that much of their time or emotional availability of where you can check in and tune into something and give a shit.
Right.
And they've devoted all of it to that. Like, you know those people that are just like, I love this band.
Yeah.
This band is the band. I got a couple friends that they only basically listen to one band.
Wow.
That's all. It's just like, that's madness, man.
Yeah.
I just can't do that. I did that for a few years. I used to listen to Fish and follow them around the summers.
Right.
And they were probably like 90% of my music diet for like 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Just nonstop. Get bootlegs and get this show and go to that show. And I listened to other things and it was right back to Fish. And after a while, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need something else in my life.
Please God.
Yeah.
I need something else in my life. And I also enjoy the, obviously, once again, it's set in the snow. I got a thing for films set in the snow. I don't know what to tell you. It's just something about it.
Do you like the crunch?
I really do. I like the sound. And I like the feeling of desolation.
Sure.
Anything can happen.
You're isolated.
Yeah, exactly.
Always in snow. It's never like a warm.
Yeah.
It's never the bottom of, what was that? Vertical, that terrible rock climbing movie.
That was Vertical
One
Limit.
of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen. Hands down. And we should, if we ever bring back Blunderdome, it's that versus that because I want to shit on that for a half hour.
Absolutely.
Fucking movie's terrible.
Because I love that movie for the stupid thing at the beginning where he has to kill his dad and cut the cord.
Yeah.
Oh, the back
Why
and
they had to
forth.
show him hitting the rock at the bottom makes no sense. And guess what? That's one of the more egregious things in that movie, but that's not even the worst. That movie fails so many times. It's impressive that they actually made it. But anyway, the only other time you see in snow is like when they're doing the stupid partying down at the base camp.
Yes.
Every other time in snow, it's always like one dude and there's another dude hunting them.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like in Hannah, she's an assassin now running through the fucking snow. Or it's every time. Pick a Bond movie. He's in the snow unless they're on skis.
Even The American.
Yeah.
At the beginning of The American with George Clooney, he's running through the snow trying to escape the assassins in a cabin. Yeah. But yeah, all right, cool. All right, and of course, Kathy Bates is fantastic in the movie, so there we go. And she won the Oscar for that.
She is the devil in female form.
She really is. That was your number
impressive.
5?
That was my number 5.
Okay, so that was my number. So my number 5 is Stand By Me.
That is my number 4.
Whoa.
That's perfect.
All right. We'll have to haggle that out, I guess.
They were juggling with another one as going 3, 4, 5. They were bouncing around, and when I wrote out that final list, this is just the way it hashed out.
This is such a good movie, dude.
It is. Usually movies with narration are terrible.
Yeah.
Because you have to fill in so many gaps, and that's hence the reason for the narration. Sometimes it's awesome.
Right.
But more often than not, when I start to hear narration, I'm like, oh, fuck, where is this going to fall apart?
Right.
What can't they tie together in just regular story? Because a lot of times, too, it's like those movies set in like old Roman or Greek times, where every time a character shows up to somewhere, he has to give the exposition of this is where we are and this is who you are. So here we are in the halls of Damocles. It is a Partheniosis, the son of, and they have to do it every time. You're like, I fucking get it. I fucking get it.
Nostius.
Yeah, Nostius. Perfect. Yeah. Rocha could almost be. I'm not sure what the Latin equivalent for that would be, but it seems like it's fairly close.
I like Nostius better. I think that works better.
It's true, but I'm sure we could figure out something. Maybe you're the Greek philosopher.
Sure. The fat Greek philosopher.
Yeah, but then it's got to be like, Rocanopoulos or something. It's got to be a little bit longer. You got to have a lot more vowels in there.
The Temple of Rocanopoulos.
Dude, we got to get you with a trident.
Oh,
you know what
perfect.
I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe Outlaw starts carrying a trident.
With a monocle. The yellow monocle and trident.
This is coming together. Halloween, we got our Superstore costume to put out there for people to buy.
Christian would never allow it. Oh my God, he'd go insane. I don't even know what you're going for.
I would just love to be the person that has it all on and has to explain to the other person what this character is. He's a like a wrestler type character that wears a cowboy hat and a V for Vendetta mask. Sometimes the mask is off and he has a monocle on that has a little mustache on it.
He has the trident.
And then a trident for no reason. I mean, it all makes sense if you know the guy. I can't explain it, though.
That'd be fucking brilliant.
Oh.
Anyway.
So Stand By Me.
How did we get to Greek? Okay, yes, so Stand By You.
Who cares?
All right.
I enjoyed it.
What a great film, though. I mean, I know people give me shit for not loving the Goonies. You know why I don't love the Goonies? Because I love this. That's an
interesting
kid's
point.
thing. This is what connects to me more because it's serious. It's real. It's like the kids are figuring out how to communicate with each other. They judge each other. Like there's a clique forming between, kind of a mini clique forming between River Phoenix and Will Wheaton, and Jerry O'Connell and who was the other kid? Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman.
Right. They're like kind of the outcasts in the situation because Corey Feldman's spastic with his dad and Vietnam stuff. Yeah, all of it is there.
They both, what happens in a group?
Yes.
One or two guys kind of rise to the leaders. Mm-hmm. And it seems like, Phoenix is kind of the leader.
Yeah.
and everybody else is kind of defaulting to him. But he
He's
obviously
the
has,
cool leader, right?
Yeah, he is.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got
he's the John Lennon of that.
He
group.
seems the most adult.
Right.
He's gone through the most shit.
Right.
So that's kind of what they're. But it's a group dynamic, and it's amazing because you look at that and you're like, all 4 of these kids are amazing.
Yeah.
You really couldn't recast any of them.
Nope.
They're all perfect in their role, which is impressive to do. And then, Kiefer Sutherland's great. Richard Dreyfuss with the narration.
Yeah.
It's just a really well-constructed, well-paced, well-told story.
Yeah, and the sadness of the ending, like that's what gives the film, I think, the weight, the emotional weight, complexity that really resonates with people, is because that ending ends so like it's such a sad ending,
true.
man. And he's a writer and he's lived this long and he's doing what he's doing, but that memory of his friend is still so powerful in his life, just from the way he's telling the story, retelling the story. You know what I'm saying? And what ends up happening to his friend, which, like, when he says it, I'm just like, damn, man, damn, And
the simple device of, like, they fade out of the shot as they're walking, and it's like, boom, and he went off to do this,
right?
And as you get down. You don't want this to end because the dynamic is imperfect.
Yeah.
And that's what is perfect about the movie.
Exactly.
It's a more true representation of, look, you're 4 friends and you will defend each other, but you're also like, I'm sick of you when you fucking do this. So stop it. Like, it's annoying because you're a kid. You can get away with that. And, the dynamic changes and the group evolves and you become something different tomorrow than what you were today.
Yeah.
And to see that in a film and, like, just the simple idea of, like, you want to see a dead body.
Yeah.
If I was that age, I would be the same as them. Be like, on the outside, more than likely being like, yeah, but on the inside, be like, I don't know. Like, this is kind of a weird. Yes, I do, but no, I don't.
Yeah.
Do I really want to see a dead body? Like, I'm curious. I've never seen one, and I'm young enough to not understand that this could have a truly damaging impact on me.
Yeah.
Especially just that young and an age. Once you start dealing with certain questions that arise.
And also, like, we've had these experiences ourselves with, like, there are friends that I remember when I was growing up as a kid that I lost touch with, don't know, and I still, and I still go back to that city. My parents have lived in the same city since 1979. So I will go back sometimes and I will occasionally run into one of those kids I knew from when I was in elementary school or when I was in middle school, and it's a completely different. Like, you just have these visceral memories of that time. Do you know what I'm saying? But you lost track of each other.
Yeah.
So they're preserved for the experiences that were of that time, and we saw and when you see in the movie how much it changes River Phoenix's character from who he was at the beginning to who he finds out that he is at the end.
Sure.
And how that leads to what happens to him later on in life, which we hear about. It's this experience changed all 4 of them forever.
And how could it not?
Right. Exactly.
They're also venturing out onto your own. I remember when I was allowed to just be like, all right, well, you got to be home by this time.
Yeah, those were the days, man.
Yeah.
You get on your bike and you just go.
Or I had friends that lived and they're like, well, it's like a 2-mile walk, but I got to cut through this field and then I go over and I walk down and I can make it over there. And sometimes all gangs, like, 4 or 5 of us be like, hey, let's go to Brad's house, or let's go here. And behind where I lived in Peoria, in roughly 8th grade through high school-ish, but like 8th grade was when we would walk around the most and do this stuff.
Yep.
8th grade and freshman year.
Yep.
But there was all these fairly densely forested gullies between, like, in this area. It was like this ravine, and eventually it spills out into this, what was called Lake of the Woods.
Okay.
It was a hidden lake within this woods. Decent size.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
This sounds like a movie already.
But you could walk through all these. So, like, we'd go down there and they'd all this, just no parents around. You could run around and there's all kinds of nature and all that stuff and just do stupid boy stuff.
Yeah.
I remember once they used to have these vines. I think it was an invasive species, and it'd go up and it would call and, like, take the light from the trees and it'd kill off the tree.
Right.
And the vine would then kind of move on. And we found one, and it was over a creek bed, and we were running with it and flying out over the creek bed and then swinging back. And we'd all done it a couple of times. And my buddy Scott was one of the better ones at it. And he ran, he jumped, and he was flying out there. And we were, like, at that point kind of doing tricks.
Yeah.
So he got his body, like, perfectly parallel with the ground.
Yeah.
At least in my memory. Who the fuck knows? But it was impressive because he had to contort, and it was, like, right at the right angle, and the vine snapped.
Oh, shit.
And you saw Newtonian physics instantly come in because he just dropped straight down. And I think it was like I don't know, 8 to 10 feet.
Oh,
Yeah, and you're like, oh, this is like, holy shit, that is, oh, fuck. Just instantly changed, and he like got a huge raspberry on his, not raspberry, but a massive bruise on his hip. But just the stupid shit that boys do.
oh yeah, man. I used to jump off bridges in Virginia.
How high?
20 feet.
Into water or ground?
Water. Not ground. Are you nuts?
Well, you never know. Like, there's always one dumb kid. I'm not saying you're that, but
Yeah.
at that age, and be like, yeah, I got away with it.
You're right. There are dumb kids who do that
Yeah,
shit. You're right.
because you think you're invincible at that age.
Yeah. It's weird growing up. We used to go and find these. And you don't know what's in that river or what's in the water,
Nope.
but you do it to test yourself. I remember one time I jumped in and there was a truck underneath the water.
Yeah, you're lucky you didn't break a leg.
Yes.
I
I missed
all kinds
it.
of damage.
I missed it by barely a foot. And I remember because I went all the way down, and then my leg hit the steel of the side of the truck, and I was like, "What the fuck?
Oh.
Like, what the fuck? I could have died, not
Yeah,
just
easily.
yeah, or crippled, not
Well, cut your femoral artery, you bled out in the water.
absolutely, or snap
Adios,
my
Rocha.
spine. How the fuck am I going to swim?
No Rocanopolis or whatever it was.
That's right.
It's unfortunate. The trident is gone. No monocles for anybody.
It's a Back to the Future situation. It's all just the
It's there,
picture
the ripple
disappearing.
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you do crazy stuff when you grow up, but that's part of what makes you a boy. Like, it's part of what makes you it's part of your
Yeah, you
got
got
to
go out. You got to
experiences.
test your boundaries and figure out what
Exactly.
you're good at in life and
Yeah.
figure out what you're not.
We're idiots like that, men. We're just idiots.
Yeah, I think
All
that's just the
physical
human
stuff.
condition.
Yeah, maybe
We
you're
just
right.
keep pushing ourselves and be like, eventually you have to realize either you can or cannot do something and
Right,
move on.
right.
Or, my aptitude for this is only so high. It sucks. would
I don't
love
know
to
if
be able
girls
to.
do this though. I think girls don't.
Sure
do
they
that
do.
kind
They
of-
just do it in different ways.
Yeah. Okay.
They just test themselves in other ways.
They're not jumping off bridges.
Not
necessarily.
usually.
Yeah.
I mean, every
It's
once
not
in
a
a while
rite
you
of
hear about like,
passage.
oh yeah, we had a girl in our group, but we didn't in ours like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty rare.
Yeah.
At least
agreed.
from my experience. I don't know. It could be a huge thing. It just wasn't.
Yeah,
where
we
I
just
lived.
nobody ever knew about these hidden clubs of girls that go jumping off bridges.
Maybe.
All right, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is 1408.
Ooh, I didn't even put that in my list.
Really?
It's that good of a movie in your
It is.
opinion?
When was the last time you saw it?
I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
I didn't think it was because it didn't get great reviews.
Watch it.
Really?
I'm telling you, man.
Sam
Watch it.
Jackson and John Cusack,
Yep.
right?
It is the
Okay.
simplest of stories, and yet it is so well executed.
Really?
Yeah. I
Didn't get reviews, so I didn't watch it. Okay.
I saw it well after it came out.
Okay.
And I was like, why didn't people enjoy this?
Right.
Because it's not aspiring to be The Godfather.
Right.
It's aspiring to be a psychological horror thriller.
Yeah.
And it succeeds at that for me because if you were in that situation and you see all this stuff before you,
Yeah.
I get it.
Right.
I could easily see why what befalls people in that, because I don't want to spoil it if you do really want to watch it. What
Yeah.
befalls people in that is not befalls, what they do to themselves and to others seems justifiable
Interesting.
given the context of the situation that Cusack is thrust into.
So it's more of a psychological
Yes.
horror film than it is an
100%.
actual horror film. Okay.
There are horror elements to it.
Right, because he goes like the room changes, like there's snow in the room or some shit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All that stuff
But it's
happens?
all just to do, it's psychological torture.
Okay.
Like there are the physical harm does come to him,
Right.
But it's never in like a gunshot, like a big huge scene. It's like this window slams shut.
Right.
It catches his fingers, he cuts his fingers.
Right.
It's like little things to remind. Like it's kind of like the room's nipping at his heels.
Yeah.
a little bit.
Okay.
Just driving him to the edge, just
Right.
kind of scooting him closer, not taking they like almost as though the character has to kill himself.
Right.
We can't kill you.
Right.
Or we as in the collective sense. It just succeeds so very well for me. And I actually rewatched it for this, and I was like, I wonder if this, because I wonder if I still like it as much as I did when I saw it.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? For Stephen King, this is basically
right,
a
Matt.
short story done into a 90-minute movie.
Fuck.
It doesn't ask a lot of you, and it's just kind of one set piece, and it holds you.
I may add this to my weekend queue of movies to
It's
watch.
good.
Okay.
I'm telling you. And Sam Jackson is used in just the right amount,
Oh,
and it's
perfect.
basically just Cusack and enjoy the ride.
I love Cusack.
So do
I. Okay. All right. I'll give it a shot.
Give it a shot. Maybe
will.
it won't, but I'm telling you, man, it succeeds for
You
me.
never know. All right. That was your number 3?
That was my number 3.
All right. So my number 3 is The Dead Zone, what we punted from earlier. Man, I love that movie. And I'm surprised it isn't higher up on your list because Walken is fantastic in that movie, and the progression of his embracing of his powers and all of that happens. To me, it's still a film that I go back to and watch whenever I catch it on any kind of station or any station. Jesus, like we have stations anymore.
It's all right.
Any of the channels and pay channel, whatever. Whenever it's on, I think Walken does a fantastic job. I think it's the most one of the most fully realized Stephen King books ever on film.
Okay. I didn't read
because
the book on this one.
Oh, you didn't read the book? Oh, yeah, it's so good. The book is really, really good. And the Martin Sheen is fantastic in it, and everything that happens, and his whole progression, his whole journey from being this guy who got into this coma, lost the love of his life, then has to figure out why he has this insane power that he can see the future whenever he touches people, and then what that leads to when he touches Martin Sheen, and then what it leads to at the end, what he does to try to stop this guy from killing the world. He was given this power so he could stop this guy from blowing up the world with nuclear bombs. It's insane how expansive this small little Stephen King movie is. And then they throw in a serial killer like fucking subplot in the movie that totally works when it should distract you.
Yeah. Well, it establishes Walken has true power.
Yeah.
He's not just bullshitting and just looking for attention.
Right.
This is the genuine article, but it does take a toll on him.
Yes.
Like, you're right. It's an excellent movie. I think it's so low on my list because I've rewatched all the other Stephen King so much more.
Well, that's what
that this one I've seen twice, I think.
Wow. Okay. Fair.
Plus, to me, like, Sheen is not a complex character. He has one motivation: it is power, and anything that stands in his way, he takes down, which is fine.
Right.
But it's just like, as a villain, I agree with you to take him out. I'm sure in the book it's a much more nuanced.
It is. Well, obviously, it is.
Yeah, so you have an identification or a connection to it there that I think lacks within the movie. But I get it. It's a hell of a villain.
Yeah.
And the villain, too, is also the choice of, do you kill someone?
Right.
It's like Minority Report. If they haven't done it, are they still guilty of the crime?
Yeah. And the whole thing is, the other thing is, once you're told the future...
Yeah, does it alter it?
Do you listen? Like Anthony Zerbe's thing with his son, how when he grabs his arm, he can see his son drowning in the water, and the dad who had brought John in as a tutor, it's just Walken's character's name, John, brings him in as a tutor.
It's like John Smith.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah.
For a character name.
And he loses his mom. Like there's so much that happens that's so tragic in the movie, and he's still just trying to figure this all out and what his purpose is.
Yeah.
And then, he has all these other stories. There's all these mini stories within this grand story in the movie, which is why I enjoy it. That's really difficult to pull off, and all these really good actors playing these smaller parts, like Tom Skerritt, Anthony Zerbe, all these great actors playing, and Brooke Adams obviously plays his girlfriend, who carries over through the whole wife, ex-girlfriend rather.
Yeah, ex-girlfriend, not even affianced.
Right. And then you have that tragedy of it, and then them coming together in a stolen afternoon, that they had to come together to do that so that they could put that away, kind of like with Castaway at the end with him and Helen Hunt. You have to have that moment to kind of put it away. And it's just so, I just really enjoy the film, and
I'm not taking away from you.
Yeah, it's just one of the ones that holds up for me so much more. All right, what's your number 2?
Well, I'm guessing we have the same top 2.
Yeah, it depends on the order.
Yeah, it does. My number 2 is, look at that, in bated breath.
The
Shawshank Redemption.
Damn it! You son of a bitch! The Shining is number 2.
The Shining is number 1.
What are you talking about?
Let's get to Shawshank now.
All right, let's get to Shawshank now. That's my number 1.
I'm not arguing with you that it's deserving of being number 1 on this list.
Yes.
I'm not.
All right. Oh, good. So we just put it number 1.
No, I didn't say it would make that on this list. I'm saying you are not incorrect for having it as number 1.
Fair enough.
Look, it's all. This is the best. We took Stephen King short story.
Short story.
Yeah. And spun it out into this amazing film.
But
Because the problem with taking the books is he put so much into the characters and everything else that it's near impossible to translate.
Absolutely.
Unless you're going to do a 2.5-hour movie or a 3-hour movie to really get this all. Or doing what they're doing with it, splitting it into 2 movies.
Yeah.
Perfectly makes sense. You could probably get 3 movies out of it if you really wanted to.
Oh, sure.
It'd be tough, though.
The Peter Jackson treatment.
Yeah, it'd be tough. Especially if it's every 30 years. It kind of works perfectly. I think that's what it is. Every 30 years, right? Works perfectly in that. Boom, kids, now adults, 2 movies, done.
Right.
You have to come back and take out this character. But with Shawshank, so this small little story is turned into such an effective, I can't believe this didn't win the Oscar.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even much heralded. Like when it came out, people liked it, but not to the degree that we all agree. This is a truly all-time classic.
Yeah. Yeah, and this, everything. Like what we talked about Frank Darabont in Green Mile, he excels even more so in Shawshank. This is the rebirth of Morgan Freeman as well. Like Morgan had done stuff in the 80s, obviously the Electric Company, whatever, and he hadn't really
had Driving Miss Daisy before this.
Yeah, but it was Driving Miss Daisy.
Like, it was Glory before that.
Yeah, but once again, these are. I don't know what you want to say.
I agree. This is a much better part.
Yes,
and he is co-lead in this on some level.
Right, but also does the voiceover, and I think this is what I mean. Is like he becomes this icon for voiceover as well, and all these kinds of things. And so it's just him like transitioning from that street smart in the '80s, and Driving Miss Daisy, like you said, and also Glory. He's in his late 30s, early 40s, that kind of thing. But then when he does Shawshank, it's something else. There's just this kind of there's just a depth to him that maybe we hadn't seen quite as powerfully before.
Oh yeah,
and Tim Robbins as well. Like this is maybe one of the greatest performances Tim Robbins has ever done on film. To be honest,
I agree with both those claims about both those actors.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes is when he's at the probation hearing and he's finally Morgan Freeman. He's finally given up.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What does rehabilitation mean to you?"
Yeah.
And then finally he's honest. For the first time, he is honest. Basically just, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. Whatever you think it is, it could be that. It could be
right.
That's an ephemeral question. It's one that cannot be defined because I don't think there is a hard and fast outline by which you can say, yes, this person did this, and then they did this, and they are truly rehabilitated.
Well, it's such a great script because he says it. He says, well, I don't know. I know what that word means to you.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know what that word means to me anymore. If you're asking me, there isn't a day that goes by that I don't want to tell that kid I was back then to not do what I did. And, if you're saying, then you just stamp your little form because I ain't got the fucking time for this shit. And it was just like, whoa. And then they send him out there.
But you do. At that point, you can tell he's an adult.
Yep.
He has learned his lesson.
Yep.
He has paid his debt to society, and he will be fine once he gets out because he has just basically done what most of us done, just resigned yourself to the wave of life, and you just kind of cruise along on this wave as opposed to trying to buck it.
And I love the subversive nature of the movie too. Well, I'm sorry, Matt. What were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
I love the subversive nature of the movie too because it is destroying these ideas of people who are uber religious being somehow some better than you or good. The institution of you being the warden of a prison, that's being undercut. You being the head guard of prisoners, like that's the juxtaposition to what you see as Tom Hanks' character in Green Mile. He's a benevolent guy. He understands these are people in death that have done terrible things, but he is not going to sacrifice his humanity or his goodness to be cruel to these people, even though they may have done terrible things. Whereas Clancy Brown's character in Shawshank Redemption can't wait to step on people and push his weight around and, enforce his rules and what have you. There's the difference between those two prison situations, And so with Shawshank, you see this progress because Tim Robbins is innocent. He's legitimately innocent.
He is. He feels as though he compelled the situation to its eventual end.
Right.
So he is harboring the guilt of that.
Yes.
And eventually he just needs to, and which he does, he gives himself closure and allows it to be okay that this transpired and whatever his participation in it is, you've paid that debt.
Yeah.
And it's okay. You're allowed to emotionally now stretch back out.
Yeah.
You've receded far enough back into yourself and done this woe is me and fought the depression and kind of huddled back in the corner. And it's okay to allow yourself to go back out, get under the sun, run around and do something and try and be a positive force for good in this world.
Yeah.
That movie succeeds like nobody's business. It finds heart in moments that really shouldn't exist. The record player over the PA.
Oh, man, yeah. So amazing.
Just great.
Yeah.
And he had built up the trust, and he's just gonna have a little mischief.
Yeah, and it doesn't pull punches either. Like those Aryans raping Tim Robbins. Yeah, they rape him multiple times, like that, and you hear that. Like that, Morgan Freeman says that. I don't like to think about what they did to him. Over and he dealt with it, and it's all the stuff because it's that whole thing that Tim Robbins says when he's sitting against the wall. He says you got to get busy living or get busy dying, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't take hope away from you. That's the one thing they can't take away from you. And so to see him like embrace that and like overcome all these terrible things that he had to suffer as an innocent guy, to come out the other side and then get the best of him. And I think that's one of my favorite voiceovers is Morgan going, I like to think that the last thing that went through that warden's mind, other than that bullet, was how Andy Dufresne ever got the best of him. And I love that. Like everyone gets their comeuppance, and you get the sad moment of Brooks killing himself. You get this that lets you know, like when people have been in prison a long time, it is hard for them to come out and try to integrate themselves back in the world.
That's all you know is order.
Yeah.
Can I do this now? Can I do that?
Yep.
When do I go to sleep? When do I get up? Do you have meals made for me?
And some people can't function without those kinds of parameters.
You are institutionalized at that point.
Yep.
You have become so used to the mundanity of the routine that is thrust upon you that you don't understand life without it. It's utter chaos.
Right.
And everybody else is the exact opposite, because who wants to be told what to do, when to do, every second of every day?
Exactly.
Nobody.
Exactly. Nope.
It's a terrible way to live.
It is.
But after a while, you're just like, that is life. I don't know anything else. I've been doing this for
you get used
all
to
of my life.
Exactly. You get used to it.
Yeah.
All right.
So the number one Stephen King. I mean,
far be it for me to argue with the great Notius.
is The Shining.
Nostius. Far be it for me to argue.
You're saying Rocanopoulos.
Listen, my only argument against The Shining is Stephen King hated this version of his movie.
But don't you see? To me,
do you think that works in its favor?
I think what works in its favor is it most truly elicits a lot of the terror that Stephen King does in his
Yeah,
writing.
it really does. You're right. It's
the closest to a book come to life. And I haven't read that book, but I'm saying if you were to take other books, they never quite hit it, because you can't really get to the psychological nature of the unsettlingness of everything. And Kubrick put so much time and effort into detail. And Room 237,
that documentary.
When they show the path of Danny on the big wheel, and the fact that it sets it up into this, now he's in this parallel world, and like this doesn't exist. So everything, and it's like, wow, he put as much time into this as Stephen King did into writing.
Yeah.
And it is to me the closest anyone's ever gotten to getting his masterworks onto screen.
Which is what's so interesting, because he hated it so. Stephen hated it, and he approved Steven Weber doing it for that TV version.
It's fucking brutal.
And that TV version is terrible.
First off, that movie is not a TV movie.
Nope. Not in any way, shape, or form.
No, you really shouldn't do that with any Stephen King
books,
at least.
And I tried listening to The Shining, because Stephen does the book on tape. He does the voiceover for the book on tape. And I was like, nope, sorry, no. Because Nicholson is so connected to this role and so connected to this story that to put anyone else who isn't willing or able to go to that level of mania, that level of lunacy, and when you watch the behind the scenes, because we did this on the Cinephiles, we covered The Shining, and you watch the behind the scenes and you hear the terrible things that Kubrick kind of put Shelley Duvall through, and
just brutal,
and Jack as well. They kind of put her through this terrible thing that kind of maybe damaged her for the rest of her life as an actress to have experienced that. It's a horror within itself, the production of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore the movie itself is as horrific as it comes, and it still holds up. I mean, that Red Rum stuff, him talking to his little thing inside of his mouth, his little friend inside of his, all of it is so creepy. The Native Americans, all of it is just mixed in to be really, really fucking creepy, man.
You know what it is? 'Cause Stephen King still wants to put his version out there. I'm sure he feels that Steven Weber didn't quite get it and would love to redo it again. But I think at this point, it's kind of like Dylan wrote All Along the Watchtower, right?
Right.
But then Hendrix came along and actually made that fucking song.
Yes.
And now Dylan does the Hendrix version of that song. He doesn't do his original orchestration, because even he recognizes, you know what? Hendrix took my idea and actually improved it and made it what it should have been.
Right.
And I had, and to me, that's kind of what The Shining is. Stephen King, you had an idea, and Kubrick took it and made it into something else.
Yeah.
And they're both honest. I just like Kubrick's version now better.
Yeah.
But I haven't read your book. I've just seen the terrible Steven Weber TV movie. So that's closer to what you want in the book. I'm telling you the Kubrick is better.
Yeah, and it really is. I mean, Scatman Crothers, everything about, like, when he gets axed, and then Danny's reaction, Danny feeling the death of Scatman Crothers.
The camera angle or the shot itself.
Yeah.
Just like, you can feel the tension within that moment.
And the tension in the maze when Nicholson is chasing him all through that maze is unsettling as well, So,
but the simple things that King is really good at is making the mundane creepy. It's like the ghost bartender. That whole scene is unsettling, because where the hell did this? Suddenly there's a character that does not belong here.
Right.
So is this character now a ghost, or is it just a manifestation of something that exists in Jack's now fractured mind?
Yeah.
And King is excellent at that. He does that throughout it.
Yep.
Where it's just like one little twist and you're like, fuck. It changes the entire tenor of this next scene.
Yeah.
And it's so impressive to me. I got a friend that's actually just reading it right now. And I'm like, dude, that is the scariest book. He's our age.
Oh, wow.
And you never read it. I don't know if he's gearing up to see the movie, but we both we trade book recommendations.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm actually in the middle of that. And I'm like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
If you can make it to the end. There are a couple really creepy passages, like creepy not in a good way.
No.
Yeah, there's two in particular.
Yeah.
But beyond that, in the scope of the entire book, it's absolutely impressive. But once again, The Shining to me is the number one Stephen King movie.
Yeah.
I get the argument against and the argument for Shawshank. Do you have a coin? Let's flip a coin.
No, I'm okay. I can. Jen Campy can write this one down. I don't mind acquiescing here because I do love it, and I love that Room 237 documentary so much.
Yeah.
I still rewatch it on Netflix.
It makes it the original even better.
Yeah, no one's doing Shawshank Redemption type documentaries.
And think about it, they could keep coming out and being like, instead of doing a collage of opinions, you just do one entirely of each opinion.
That's
and I
true.
would watch it.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Okay, give me all the faked moon landing. What else you got in this movie?
I love that too.
Love it. Let's do it. Okay, what else? The genocide against Native Americans.
Right.
Fucking, I'm
the Minotaur. Bring the Minotaur. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can only go 70, 80 minutes, but I believe you could stretch it out to where it's an hour minimum. But
the Apollo 11 stuff is the stuff that unsettles me.
That's the one that's the first one. If they all release on the same day, that's the one I watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's the most plausible to me, even though I don't believe in that, but it's like that's really interesting.
Yes.
That is really interesting.
There's enough intelligence to it that you're like, I have to respect this.
Yeah, I don't buy it,
right.
But your conspiracy is interesting.
Yes.
Usually I look at a conspiracy and be like, that's so full. Really? Really? You believe that?
You're kind of a nut. All right, so let's hammer this thing out. So obviously, I acquiesce The Shining 1, but Shawshank is 2.
Correct. Well, you write them down because I'm back this time.
I have Dead Zone at 3. What do you have next?
I got Dead Zone at 9, but I have 1408, which isn't even on your list. So what I will do is, if you want Dead Zone at 3, I'll give you that at 3.
That's right. That's a good point.
You gave me the number 1. I will give you my number 9 at number 3.
There we go. So then 1408's after that.
Sure.
Is that what you want?
Hell yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Calm it down. All right. I have Misery next.
I have Stand By Me next. Personally, Stand By Me is more resonant film because I think I could watch it more than I can ever watch Misery. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's higher on my list.
Okay.
Misery has the more effective scene.
Because you gave me Dead Zone.
Are we going Stand By Me next?
Yeah, that's fine.
So then Misery after that.
Yes.
Then I think we both have Green Mile.
Yes, we do.
Next.
Nice.
And then the only thing left I think we have together is Carrie.
Yeah. Do you want to move
Carrie
that up?
next.
3, 4, 5. So it's at 8, right?
Sure. I'm not writing this down.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So we only got 2 left.
We do.
We both have Running Man.
All right.
You got it at 10. I got it at 8.
Yeah, Running Man it is.
And then after that, I got Children of the Corn. And what's your one that I don't have?
Dolores Claiborne.
Dolores Claiborne.
I feel like
Dolores Claiborne's a better movie.
Yeah. Good.
Even though I can't remember it.
Well said.
Children of the Corn is a guilty pleasure.
Oh, there we go.
I think they've made 7 of them, though.
You already have
for
one
what
of
that's
those.
worth. That's not really a good sign, but for what that's worth, they've made, I believe, like 7 of those.
Nice. And this list could all change if it is fantastic. It could shoot up the charts.
Listen, if it is good, it cracks top 3 for sure for me. If it's good, and
I think that's
if it's
fair.
truly, genuinely good, it could make it all the way to number 1.
Wow, you never know.
Yeah, you
Good
don't. I don't know that it will because those other 2 have stood up now for a long time.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough to crack that.
Right.
But it's got a chance.
Ooh.
It does.
All right, well, let's count this thing down.
All right, let me. Where am I going to do my bang?
Yeah,
I'm just going to do it on the chair. Fuck it.
There it is.
All right, give me that falsetto, baby.
The great Nostius. They're right there. All right. The top 10 Stephen King films.
All right, I'm banging on a chair at number 10.
The Running Man. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Dolores Claiborne. Sorry, I was reading the wrong list.
All right, perfect at number 9.
The Running Man.
Coming in at 8.
Carrie.
Number 7.
The Green Mile. This banging is brilliant.
Thank you. Número 6.
Misery.
Now, starting our top 5 is...
Stand By Me.
At number 4.
1408.
Coming into the 3 spot.
The Dead Zone.
All right, in the deuce is...
The Shawshank Redemption.
And finally, our number 1 Stephen King movie is...
The Shining. There it is.
Boom, that's some top-notch banging.
That was
past
really...
2 weeks
Look at you. Your face is all red. You're sweating. What's
Sweating? Really? Oh, dude, I got heart troubles if I'm sweating from that.
heart troubles?
Yeah.
There's a lot of good movies. If you haven't seen a lot of these movies, get on it. I don't know what you're doing, why you haven't seen them. You live this long.
Yeah, some of them are kind of, older.
I guess so.
I bet you there's a bunch of people that have never heard of The Dead Zone.
Oh, my God.
Think about it.
Get on it. It's Christopher Walken.
It's not even, but it's not one of King's most well-known.
True. And it's Christopher Walken before he starts becoming a caricature, too.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff.
Sheen's excellent in it.
He is. He's a great villain.
Just as a one-note villain, but he's still excellent in it.
Yeah,
You believe that he is this just fucking kinetic force towards evil.
I just love he shakes the hands of everybody after they've sent the nuclear weapons. You've made history.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my God. Anyway, it's a lot of good movies for you to watch. Thanks so much for listening to us this week. Matt, what do you want to tell them?
So we're still working on the Patreon stuff, so just bear with us. We will get to it when we get to it.
Yep.
Hopefully it's sometime coming up soon. That's what I'm sure we'd like to get it done and out of the way. Thanks to everybody that supported us. Thanks to Chris Alexakos for taking care of our Facebook page and all the people that are submitting all the different images of us that they keep making from the show from something stupid we've said.
Yeah.
All that stuff is fantastic. I see it. I try and retweet it whenever I see it or comment on it if it's posted on Facebook.
Right.
I want to thank you all and all the people that early post as soon as it comes up, or the people that are on YouTube and be like, who's my Midnight Squad with me? And people are checking in. It's 4:17 where I'm at, and you're like, that's fucking dedication, man. I love you guys for that.
Absolutely,
It is. It is every time. But yeah, thank you so much to everybody. Just please keep downloading. If you can't find us on Android, everybody says Podcast Addict is the best play or best app to use. So you just search out Schmoes Know, and we're listed on their RSS feed. So if you find them on iTunes, you have found us, and just look for the Top 10 show.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, download us on iTunes and download us and leave it on. Like download it on YouTube, rather, and just leave it on. You don't have to listen to it. You turn the sound down, just leave it on. It gives us clicks, and it helps us, support the show in both directions. Like it helps us promote the show, rather, in both directions.
Yeah.
For like advertisers or whatever, and all this kind of, which is the next step.
Yeah. Basically, it's just, if you enjoy the fun that we have, then if you could do that, we'd really appreciate it, because that'll further maintain us doing the things that you enjoy.
Absolutely. And tell your friends, tell your families, like convert people. People all the time are tweeting at us how they've converted their friends and their families. So we love reading that. And of course,
we should get those people that stand outside of grocery stores and get signatures. Just have them badger people to listen to the show.
Have you listened to the Top 10 show? Have you found Jesus?
They get like a 25 cents or 50 cents for every person they sign up or something ridiculous like that. So, I don't know if we can pay on that. Maybe we get a better bulk price.
Yeah.
But it's something to think about.
What's non-union? So it'd be 30-day net, 45-day net. We wouldn't have to pay him immediately. We could hold out for 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah, so you never know.
I like that you've actually, it seems like you put some time into this,
I always thinking about everything, man.
That's old Strikebreaker Rocha. Over there.
Old Fist, F-I-S-T, that old Stallone movie. Listen, we're on the SK Plus podcast channel. You guys should know that by now, but if you don't, if you're new listeners, you're converted listeners, we are on the SK Plus podcast channel. That's where you found us. Please patronize those shows too. The Wanger Show, Don't Be a Beardo.
Have you heard about this Outlaw Nation? It's fucking excellent. It's funny. The guy is raw and himself. Every week he opens up another aspect or facet of his soul and says, this is who I am. And you got to respect that type of honesty when you see that in the world.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's very sweet of you to say. I'm sure that guy would appreciate it. What else? Oh, after Schmodown, the Schmodown Rundown with that asshole Brian Davids, and then Aaron, and my favorite guy, Frank Janis, who's awesome. And of course, you can see us on the Schmodown whenever we get our shots, taking on the people we're taking on. Whoever, I don't know where we're going to be taking on, who we're going to be taking on next, but I know we're lined up to something. So
yeah, trust me, we're out there.
Yeah,
you'll
see us. And of course, thanks so much. And follow Matt. Where can people follow you?
Yeah, find me on Twitter or Instagram at Matt Knost, and that is MATTKNOST.
Right. You can find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And that's it for this week. And we will talk to you all next week.
That's it.
Bye-bye.